Ever since December 30, 2021, writer Martin Freiland has been predicting that the American hegemony over the world is going to end. The West must be skillfully dismantled to temporarily install a new system of larger power blocks, in which some regions can become independent countries again, think Scotland, Northern Ireland, Catalonia, and so on, but in fact still come under a new kind of union. Not the European Union. The EU, like NATO, will disintegrate. All this is planned. In his prediction, Martin Freiland also foresaw the fall of the dollar and the growth of Bitcoin. Although that Bitcoin now seems to be driven out by the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, and by legislation, that CBDC too will be pulled along in the fall of the supposed deep state. That fall of the supposed deep state is nothing more than the fall of the sham deep state. The real deep state is the one in which the sham deep state, the cleared pedophile networks and the royal houses, gives way to the desired power blocks. These power blocks will be perceived by the people as redemption because they have unmasked the pedophile networks and the vaccine as a bioweapon. As explained in the previous videos, the great exposed psyop of the pedophile networks will be brought out by Turkish President Erdogan. After he has done this and involvement of Joe Biden becomes incontrovertibly visible, Trump may quickly seize power in the US after elements in the military, FBI, and CIA side with him. This will take some time, and in the meantime, Joe Biden will presumably flee to Brazil. There he thinks he will be safe under the wings of Lula da Silva, but if he too turns out to be involved in the networks, a coup of sorts will take place there as well, and Bolsonaro may regain power with the support of the military and the people. In detecting the pedophile networks, vaccines have played a role. The story will be that people like Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci were aware that the so-called mRNA vaccine was developed as a bioweapon. It would have involved graphene oxide in the vaccines. Graphene oxide can cross the blood-brain barrier, forming an intricate neurological biosensor network in those injected. This makes it possible to read minds from the cloud. Trump will declare that he approved the bioweapon because he wanted to use the weapon against its developers. He will also declare that he did so in cooperation with China, Russia, and Turkey. Through this bioweapon, they have gained an accurate picture of pedophile networks. Even those who did not receive the brain-computer interface through the vaccine have come into view, because of contact tracing and big data. Elon Musk will be considered a hero, because of the internet connectivity of his Starlink satellites, which were necessary to accomplish all this on an independent network. Major scandals will also come out about Ukraine. The link between Joe Biden, his son Hunter Biden, Sam Bankman-Fried, and the biolabs will possibly surface. And this again will have to do with the pedophile networks. Zelensky will probably not be in place for long, and with the breakup of NATO, the staged war in Ukraine will end soon, with Russia, Poland and Turkey splitting the country. That war is staged because it is part of the great psyop game toward the new big power blocks, with parts of the deep state being sacrificed for the stage. The real deep state is in control of this whole game. They have planned this way. It is going exactly according to plan. In Canada, Trudeau will step down. The US military will pull out of Europe and start helping Trump to bring order to the US, after a sort of civil war situation develops in which the Biden supporters in particular will be targeted. The Canadian military will form an alliance with Trump to bring order to Canada. Israel will possibly play a role in all of this. Brazil will also be helped. Lula da Silva will be replaced by Bolsonaro, who will restore order. Mexico will side with Trump and Bolsonaro. All this will lead to a new and larger power bloc. And so we see the preparations for a new American Union. Turkey will restore order in Europe, freeing countries and territories from dictatorial pressure from the EU. As a result, Turkey will be embraced as a liberator. Erdogan will propose a freer-looking union after order is restored, in which countries will again be allowed to protect their national identity and culture. Turkey, however, will be the guardian of order. The new union will allow each country to have its own currency, with Bitcoin as the backbone. That Bitcoin will hold the central role in international trade between the unions and will be easily traceable and have solid value stability because it will be linked to environmentally friendly Bitcoin mining. Calm will return to Russia after Putin will be hailed as a great victor. His position of power is rock solid and secure. Only age and health can bother him now, but he will presumably have already trained his deputy. And that deputy will surprise everyone. It may be a female candidate. In China, meanwhile, the big cleanup of old elements from the government is also in full swing. There too, the pedophile scandals will make many heads roll. Xi Jinping, however, sits firmly in the saddle. He will be able to use the Great Purge as additional propaganda for his own leadership. His role will not go unnoticed in Australia and New Zealand. There too, scandals are rolling up lots of politicians and high-ranking figures. And since Australians and New Zealanders want nothing more to do with the British royal family, the people and military will be eager to make a pact with China to come clean. They will even head toward the United Kingdom to help clean up the mess there. Africa will also break out under the yoke of its colonial influences. That is a simple consequence of NATO splitting apart and individual armies not having enough clout. Turkey is now in charge in Europe, and that gives Africa new freedom. That newfound freedom will be perceived as liberating there as well, and Bitcoin opens the doors for fast-paced international trade without restrictions. Turkey will be embraced as a savior as a result. This opens the door to cooperation with the new European free countries within a central union, overseen by Turkey. The people will not care about the existence of such a union. They are too busy celebrating redemption. The three new power blocks will then consist of the Americas, North America and South America combined, the bloc Europe plus Africa, and the bloc Asia plus Australia and New Zealand. Countries in Asia that are currently pro-America will join China without resistance after they too have witnessed the great revelations. The same is true for Japan. Russia was not mentioned as a separate bloc here. Russia is the great victor on the scene, because it will be the friend of all three new power blocks. In fact, there will be 4 power blocks. 3 new blocks, plus Russia. And Russia will be the stabilizing factor. The world population will embrace this whole process as a liberation. There will then be a time of relative calm, but appearances are deceptive, for the agenda will not be fulfilled until one world government is in place and the transhumanization agenda is realized. Make no mistake. Large sections of the population will embrace the brain-computer interface because it has proven its usefulness in breaking up pedophile networks. However, Bitcoin, which will likewise provide a sense of redemption because it will help the economy quickly rebound, has a major drawback: every transaction is traceable. With that then, the world's population has unwittingly embraced its own digital prison. And although some will opt for the fake, anti-means and others have simply not been vaccinated, in the long run they will find it difficult to survive without all the benefits that will be offered within the digital system. Even though areas and countries will seemingly become independent, under the new union they will cooperate in offering a basic income, based on Bitcoin and big data sharing. This will take some time to implement, but not long because people are hungry and need help. This basic income will then be coupled with traceability and behavioral monitoring. Of course, this will be easily sold under the guise of preventing great evil in the future. After all, this system has helped expose pedophile networks. Everything you will experience in the coming period is part of a master script. The depth of that script and its goals go far beyond mind control and a social credit system. It leads toward total technocratic control and transhumanization, via the illusion of liberation. You cannot subjugate billions of people with guns and cannons, but you can make them embrace a new system voluntarily, through a sense of liberation and victory. Martin Freiland is a writer that sees through the master script. According to him, QAnon is part of this grand psyop to sell the illusion of liberation. It is therefore important to share this video with as many people as possible. Follow this channel and visit his websites for the latest updates on martinfreiland.nl.